And what's happening out there, guys? We are now live. Sorry there for that little delay getting to you this evening. And welcome along to 420 News, guys. And I'm your host this evening. It's Martin Condon. Jesus, sorry, lads. I kind of butchered that one there, rushing over, trying to get everything done, throwing it all together there in the background. But nonetheless, I'm here, and I hope you're all blazed out there, guys. It's Friday. Woo! Thank crunchy, it's Friday. Hope you're all having a good weekend. Lots of lockdowns and all this kind of nonsense happening around the place. Like, but look, we'll have none of that here today on 420 News, guys. Or as little as possible talk about the coronavirus. The first piece of news here that I have to bring to you today actually has a little piece in there about the coronavirus, but it's not major, to be honest. It's positive. It's positive for somebody anyway. Maybe not for us too much here in Ireland, but for somebody somewhere. So it's going to bring us over to America, guys. And the first bit of the news today is that the there's been a market report released there recently, and they estimate that the market in America, which currently the market for cannabis edibles, that is currently worth 2.3 or 2.9 billion euro. So that's in 2020. And they're projecting that by 2027, so in the next 7 years, they're going to see that increase to just close to $12 billion, like, you know. So that's just a new report there released to the market analysts out there, the guys who kind of follow this stuff and invest their money in different businesses and stocks and things like that. So they're projecting some big things from the cannabis market there over the next couple of years. So any policymakers out there in Ireland, I hope like you're paying attention to this stuff and we start making more favourable policies here in Ireland so that our own industry can start competing in this world stage and this market that is going to be worth billions of euros, and we need to get this money out of the hands of the criminals. So onwards and upwards, guys. We proceed on. So the next thing, we're going to stay in America, and we have coming up here. We have three states in America that have coming up in November, I think it is. These three states get to vote on the legalization of cannabis in their state. So Arizona, New Jersey, and South Dakota are the three states. So they're three interesting states. So New Jersey, they say that if they're to be successful in their campaign here to have cannabis legalized, this could be a very big one for America, because of the size of the market there, and there's a bit of a knock-on influence then onto New York, who could possibly be kind of persuaded into also legalizing in a future election, a vote. So yeah, that's New Jersey. Then South Dakota, what they're trying to do is going to be the first of its kind if they're successful, which is to have a vote in favor of both medicinal cannabis, because they haven't medicinal cannabis approved there yet in the state level. So they're voting on medicinal cannabis and also recreational cannabis in the first time. So if they're successful in getting those both passed, that will mean they'll be the first state ever to pass both of those measures in one go. There's probably other states who've tried it and not been successful, but if these guys are successful there, they'll be making history. Then we have the next guys, Arizona there. So Arizona are the guys with the star. And, oh, sorry, caught out. 420 issues. You guys probably understand. But Arizona guys, they tried back in 2016 to legalize recreational cannabis sales, and they were quite unsuccessful in doing so. And part of that reason was that there was a lot of money given from pharmaceutical companies down there to the anti-cannabis side. So the guys arguing against the legalization of cannabis, they were quite well funded. This one company that popped up, Insys, Insys Therapeutics, they alone gave $500,000 to the anti-cannabis lobbyists, or campaign, in order to help keep cannabis illegal. And these guys are no nice guys, to be honest. Like they give pain medication in the form of liquid fentanyl. You probably heard of fentanyl. Responsible for a lot of deaths there on the streets. Because this stuff is getting onto the streets. A bit of an overflow from maybe the legitimate suppliers of it. But we won't talk about that stuff. So these guys supply this, but was it 5 months after the vote went and failed in Arizona? These guys went away and had a cannabis medicine approved, a cannabis-based medicine approved. Um, Very two-faced. Like, on one hand, they're fighting against cannabis legalization, but the other hand, they're trying to profit off of cannabis-based medicines. Like, it's just very unethical for these kind of companies really to be given such a large volume of money to a campaign such as fighting against the legalization of cannabis and the continuation of keeping it illegal and criminalizing people for possessing it and possibly, self-medicating, growing their own at home because maybe they can't afford the products that these guys went and got approved 5 months later. So the mask slips every day. This is very vindicating for a lot of people who say that there's a lot of push there from the pharmaceutical industries that keep this stuff illegal. Because here you go, there's a pharmaceutical company who've given $500,000 there in 1 year alone to a single campaign that fights against the legalization of a drug they went away and later got approved. So you kind of see the reasons why these guys do this stuff. Um, so onwards and upwards, guys. We're going to hop on a plane, and our next journey is going to bring us to Australia. G'day, mates. Hope you all well out there in Australia. Yeah. So these guys here you see up on screen. You have GW Pharmaceuticals, and they're partnering with Chesy. Hopefully, I got that right. Chesy, they do basically a lot of pharmaceutical research. They're around for over 80 years now, and they specialize in one area, which is global rare diseases or orphan diseases, such as intractable epilepsy or Dravet syndrome, or there's multiple other kind of forms of it there. But basically, it's a type of epilepsy that's resistant to medication, which is a couple of them have got orphan status. Basically, there's a lot of money there in terms of grants because there's not many people suffer with these conditions, and so there's a lot of money there for these things. But anyway, the Epidolex is a CBD uh, based medicine. It's a cannabis based medicine. It's taken from the cannabis plant. It's approved in America, so 92% of GW pharmaceutical sales are based in America, where this stuff is approved for sale and distribution by the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, the big dogs. So a lot of money invested here in this, and it's quite understandable why they mightn't want you to be able to grow this stuff at home yourself when, as I said, there's a lot of money being invested in this now. Like these guys are, again, they're pushing to have this across Australia at the moment. Now what they're pushing for is they've got approval to have this on the market in Australia. Their next fight now is to have approval for the reimbursement of payment for this medication so that it can be covered under the Australian health benefit scheme, so people can get a bit of a refund there on the cost of this stuff, because it ain't cheap, because you basically have to pay for all of the red tape and the bureaucracy that that these guys have to go through to get this medicine to market. You have to pay for all of that. All of these costs probably wouldn't be in place, and this stuff would be much, much, much cheaper. Had prohibition never reared its head up all those years ago, back in the 1930s. A lot of research could have got done, and no, sadly, this wasn't the case. Instead, we had many, many years of just trying to demonize the cannabis plant, and now the patients are paying the price. Well, a positive thing there for maybe some people in Australia who might be able to benefit off of this medication, and hopefully, if they're successful in their aim to have the medicine added to the list of approved medicines for that reimbursement scheme, That'll be a positive things for the patients there. But hopefully these guys aren't acting like the last guys and funding the anti-cannabis lobbyist kind of guys fighting against legalization there, because I know there's a lot going on in Australia too, outside of this. So we drive on, guys. We're going to hop back actually to America, and interestingly, we have Playboy. This is a nice one. Playboy are coming out, and they're now joining. Well, I think they have always been on board the fight for cannabis legalization. So Playboy are now teaming up with a couple of organizations in America, some well-known ones, some who've been present in the UK and Ireland too, such as Normal, the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. I hate the word marijuana, but look, it is what it is. So they have teamed up with Normal. They've teamed up with the Last Prisoner Project. And they're very cool campaign, well worth checking out actually. They're going around trying to get a lot of people free from prison who shouldn't be there. I know they've been involved with some very good campaigns. I think they were on a podcast with Joe Rogan as well. Like highly recommend going and checking that one out. And they have a good documentary there up on Netflix as well. Again, the name is eluding me, but the Last Prisoner Project. Check those guys out. Really good campaign and thing that they're doing there. Then you have the Marijuana Policy Project, the Veterans Cannabis Project, and the Ease Momentum Program. And their main focus is going to be on federal legalization of cannabis, which is the big one in America, really. It's the federal legalization which people need to be focusing on over there now. There's a lot of states getting it now. I think I should have checked it up how many states, but I'd say they're probably close to, if not exceeded, 50 states now that have some form of cannabis legalization there. So they are moving along nice and well. So I think a lot will be decided now on this November election when they get the vote on the new president, and also again, as I said, those three states there who also get the vote on the legalization of cannabis. I'm not too sure who's more favourable president there in America for people to be voting on in the coming election. Like Trump has done, like yeah, he said he'll leave the states alone to do their own thing. Positive thing, definitely. But still, it's just not enough. Like it's very, it's standoffish. He's not doing anything, but like not doing anything is almost as bad as doing what like other people are doing. Like Biden said that or their campaign said they'd possibly decriminalize cannabis. Again, they don't clarify what that is, but they said that they won't legalize it. They won't legalize it on a federal level. I think that's something Biden campaign has explicitly said, that they won't legalize it on a federal level. So I think that is a no vote there for me anyway, for Biden straight away, despite him saying that he'll decriminalize it. But again, much to be begged there from Trump. He should maybe speak up and be a bit more proactive there, and call for the federal legalization of cannabis. I don't know who else is running. I haven't heard anything about any independents or kind of third party guys out there, so I just think it's a two-horse race again, as always in America. I liked Johnson before. At least he said some positive things there about cannabis. And not the crack is Andrew Yang. Is he still even running or what? I don't know what the crack is there. I haven't been following up with that, so I won't say too much more on that. And after that, guys, we're gonna. Oh yeah, the Playboy guys. They also have launched some CBD products in the form of like sensual massage oils. They have CBD bath bombs. And they say that they're all for enhancing the sexual pleasures that people experience. So check those ones out. Go on, Playboy, and hopefully that they'll do some good there in the fight to legalization. I know we have one Playboy model in Cork, so hopefully she might have something to add to this. There, she might come on and add some comments. So we leave that at that anyway. She knows who she is, and we'll see if she takes up that offer. So back to Cork, guys, and on Fairhill yesterday, So unfortunate character had a bump with the cops. Apparently they were watching him. So in an operation that the Gardaí say was targeting, how did they put it here now? I have it written down here. So a part of an operation targeting local drug distribution gangs. So, they're targeting probably a bunch of, I don't know, 40,000 two keys. Okay, it's a lot of cannabis, like, to be fair. And they got a lot of cash there. It's there's no denying it. Like, these guys were selling cannabis, but again, it's not a whole lot. There's not too many people out there at the moment who have it, and yeah, the sooner this stuff is just legalized and regulated, the better. Like the bigger crime here is the fact that we had Gardaí not looking for thieves. We had Gardaí not looking for murderers. We had Gardaí not looking for rapists. This is the real crime. Um, some guy in his 30s has been arrested for this. Like, but like, to be honest, come on, it's you take one away, like there's plenty more going to follow in this guy's footsteps. Like, this is a never-ending battle. Like, come on, we have to get our head out of the sands on this one. A lot of cash there on the table. Like, what's happening with this? Like, all of the stuff that CAB are coming and raiding off of people. Like, it's all just evidence to how much the war on drugs is a massive failure, and it goes and funds these massive criminal enterprises. We've no problem. Like, imagine we kept alcohol illegal and we ran a dry state, but yet alcohol now was sold alongside of cannabis and cocaine and all of these other drugs. Like, and instead of me talking here now about like a raid on cannabis, like we had a fella with a boot full of like moonshine getting pulled over and piles of cash. Or if the violence perpetuated from America like that time, if they never ended the prohibition there, like, would we had more extreme gangs with their machine guns on the streets here, just shooting up the cops, like protecting the transport of their drugs. Like, we're very lucky here currently that the violence is only at the level that it's at, because it can get much worse, much worse. Like, you think it's bad now, like the gun violence and stuff. Like, I know it's escalated compared to what it was before, but it's only the tip of the iceberg of what's to come, really, if we were to continue with pushing this model of prohibition. Like, the harder it is for these guys to get their drugs to the street, the more riskier it's going to make it. The more expensive these drugs will be, the more risk these guys will take, and the more violence they're willing to put out there to kind of protect their turfs, so to speak. Like, the Gardaí can't even protect themselves, to be honest. We showed you evidence of it there in previous 420 news segments, where like there was a guard had his garden lit on fire. The guard had to move house, and again, like, they're not infallible in this either. There's Gardaí been implicated in working alongside the drug dealers, giving them tip-offs as to when raids are happening. Like, it's just ludicrous that we continue this stuff. What, like, they got 12 grand there now yesterday in that raid. A cop probably gets paid like, what, 36 grand, three times that, maybe 50, 48,000. I don't know what's an average cop's wage in this country, like 48, 50,000. I don't know, like, but look at what these guys are making. Like, seriously, just have a think about it, how easy it is for one of these criminals to just buy off some of these cops. Look the other way there, Coppola. Like, there's this young fella there, he's going to have €100 worth there going down the thing, or we're going to give him some stuff to mind for us there, go down and raid that there. You know, you just don't know how these guys work at all. Um, as I say, the devil you know is probably better than the one you don't. And I think a lot of the Gardaí are aware of this saying too, so they're probably willing to work with maybe some of the top dogs for fear of maybe who might replace them. Just throwing that out there as a possible scenario, like, and it is a likely one too. That, like, for if I was a cop and there was a drug lord in the area, but look, there was no real violence associated with this guy, and he was keeping others out of the area who would have brought violence with him. Maybe I'd be less likely to go and raid this guy and have him removed, and with him removed also this kind of field of protection, as such, that this guard might feel he has by keeping him in place. Just think about it, guys. The guards are only human too, and they're not getting paid enough at all for the job they're doing. And I think when we leave them, go target these guys, like we're just making their job harder for them. So, other places in Ireland, we have County Laois, guys. So we jump on up to Laois, and in County Laois there was what went on up in Laois? Oh yeah, we had the 29-year-old unemployed student by the name of Edward Aliamansaku. Um, this unfortunate guy got caught back in the 28th of August in 2019 with an amount that I don't know because the article was kind of very unclear of what actually happened. But this guy got searched again. They raided his house almost a year later on the 14th of July, and they found 5 grams of cannabis in his house. So this guy admitted to the Gardaí that he said that the cannabis was for friends, that he was minding it for a friend, or maybe it was to share with friends. I don't know how that was, but that's a quote from what he said to the guards. He gives it to friends. And his solicitor then also said, in defense of the client, that he uses cannabis recreationally. He does not sell it, but he does supply it to friends. Um, so if he supplies it to friends, essentially, in the eyes of the law, sorry, but that's dealing like, but what a heartbreaker. Like, he's getting charged now with intent to sell or supply um, for apparently 5 grams of cannabis. He was probably caught with another bit the first time too, maybe another 5 grams that time. By the sounds of it, he hasn't got caught with a whole lot. The judge has now ordered this guy to go and get a probation report and a community service report, whatever that might be. Never heard of that one. And that has to be provided then by the 10th of December when he's going to be back in court again. So like there's more of it, like more Gardaí wasting their time. Let's say last year in August they caught this guy with what? Let's say they even caught him with an ounce, all right? Let's say he got an ounce. The Gardaí value an ounce at 560 euro, I think it would be. So that's, let's just say that, an ounce, and he got it for him and 3 friends, a quarter each. They probably paid 300 euro for it. 75 euro each was the true cost to them of the product. Let's say he got caught with this ounce. The cops waited around for a year, and then they decided that it was worthwhile to go back and raid this guy's house, and all he was ever caught with was a bit of cannabis. Like, the guy's a 29-year-old unemployed student who, like, he done architectural technology in DIT. So, like, you just have to wonder really, like, what's going on there. Like, all of this money, all of these resources, all of these man hours, our state are expending, like, fighting this, and just the ill health now that this poor guy is going to go through for what? As I say, let's say he got caught with an ounce. Like, how much did the raid cost on his house? How much is this probation report going to cost? How much is this community service report going to cost the state, the taxpayers? How much is that costing us? And then how many services are going underfunded then in the meantime in line with this? Like, mental health services for one. I think the figure was nearly 7 to 8 thousand people, not people actually, kids. 7 to 8 thousand kids currently waiting to be assessed under the CAMS unit. That's for assessing kids for maybe psychiatric or mental health issues. That's an alarming number. And meanwhile, we've our cops that are well funded. Sure, the boys are able to go out and carry out these raids. Really, surely mental health of our kids is much more important than keeping a bit of the wacky backy off of the street. Come on, in fairness, like, this wacky backy is fucking medicine that many people out there are using to treat symptoms of chronic conditions, and they're doing it illegally because our government have their heads up their arse when it comes to cannabis policy in Ireland. They've had a long time now to do something about this, and they still haven't. The medicinal cannabis access program is still there with no patients. our government are now back from their holidays there that they took during a global fucking pandemic. After been struggling to even get a government together, they went away and took 6 weeks holidays, and now they're back and they still haven't got their fingers out of their holes when it's come to this mess that is cannabis and cannabis for medicine for patients. It's just sickening like that. They're so ignorant and they're so willing to let patients suffer needlessly just because of their ignorance. Here I am, look, I'm willing to work for free. I've gone through college. I'm more than willing, like, pick up the phone, just tap away there on Facebook. Any policymaker out there who needs a bit of guidance on this, like, I won't lead you astray at all. I'll wholeheartedly give you the honest truth, my own opinion as to what you should be doing, because it seems like none of you have a clue. Yeah, in Laois anyway, like that poor guy has to wait now until December 10th. So I'll keep an eye out for that one, and I'll try to bring an update if anything happens to our poor buddy Edward. Edward, if you're out there listening, man, and if you wanna add to what I said, feel free to get in touch, man. Solidarity with you, brother. And then the next one, guys. Yeah, last night as I lay dreaming. I dreamed of this place, Spancilhill, County Clare. So shout out to John, and he's up in County Clare there. So we were talking about this place there on Wednesday as well. But we're back here now again. So the cops there yesterday, or was it Wednesday evening actually, late Wednesday night, carried out a massive raid, and they raided some house, and they found, I think it was €100,000 worth of cocaine. So the old Colombian schno. Yeah, a lot of cocaine there. But what they also found, and the only reason I'm reporting on this one is because they also found three cannabis plants in the house, and it just makes me wonder, like, what were they coming for? Like, most likely because of the cocaine. But yeah, three cannabis plants also found up there. But again, one of the only reasons I'm reporting on it is because of the cannabis plants and because of the comments of the chief superintendent up there. So the chief superintendent, his name Sean Colleran. This is his comment. Drugs have such a negative impact on so many lives and have no place in our community. All members of An Garda Síochána are dedicated to carry out operations and investigations that will help protect the community we serve. Now, guys, I don't know about you, but I know some guards, and I know these guards like to play in the snow too, you know? Seriously. I was looking through some Reddit things there before, and there's some quite interesting ones. But there was one fella, he was at the bar, and he was after being out smoking a spliff and he knew that the cops were there, and he knew him, like, personally, I suppose, in the area, whatever, but they were there on a night out, and he was at the bar getting a drink, and the cop came up to him at the bar and says to him, geez, he goes, there's a fair smell of cannabis around here, or wacky backy, whatever kind of thing he used anyway. And your man, he goes, geez, you want to be worried about that? No, at all. He goes, you want to be more worried about your buddies over there, and all the the hay fever medicine that they're taking in the bathroom. So all the boys in the bathroom snorting lines, like, up in the pub, like. But here we have the chief superintendent talking about this stuff when this, like, cocaine is most likely the drug of choice of guards, to be honest. They don't really like cannabis because they probably wouldn't be able to sleep well at night because of the way cannabis kind of makes you think about things. You can't really lie to yourself too much if what you do is kind of not right, like if it's not morally correct, and if you're anyway a half decent person, like, cannabis will make you really think hard about that and most likely change your actions, or quite possibly just quit your job. I know I would never be able to be a guard, even if I was able to be hired and get past all the drug tests and stuff. I just wouldn't be able to stop and search a fella for drugs, just end of. I just wouldn't be able to do it, to be honest. If I was to be stopping and searching a person, it's most likely to see if they have some stolen property of them, and maybe if there was an assault in the area, if there's some evidence that they were involved in it, I'd be looking for that. But I certainly wouldn't be stopping and searching some young fella, seeing if he has some cannabis on him, like, or like some of the other fellas there. Like I seen some cops. I've been having a burger with my buddy, and on a Tuesday afternoon, it's quite a regular thing we do there. We'd go into the city, grab a burger, and we were sitting down on French Church Street, eating a burger outside. And I spotted two undercover cops go up and hassling a young fella sitting down on the side of the street, homeless guy, and he had a cup there, and he was begging. And I don't know whether they hassle him because it's illegal to beg or what, like, but they went away and they left him there begging afterwards. But before they went, they had to search his pockets. Like, seriously, like, why did they have to search his pockets? Like, all right, maybe he was involved in another crime, like, and I'm speaking out of turn on this one, and I put my hand up. That's a possibility, like, but it's also a possibility that, like, yeah, this guy is homeless, he's down and out, and yeah, drugs will ease the pain of that. The pain of having to accept the fact that you're living on the street, and to numb the pain that goes with just feeling like you're worthless. Because that's why a lot of people, especially people on the street, use drinking drugs. It's just to numb the fact that of their position in life, and to just help them just to get on in the moment to moment basis, and just live this chemical induced life. Like, and it's unfortunate then these guys get victimized by our Gardaí, who and should be really helping them. Like, and I know they say they help them. Oh, we'll get this guy into addiction services by catching him with drugs, and that's not the way we want to be helping people at all. Like, if we want to get a person into addiction services, like, we need to do it in a more proactive way that's actually going to get them into it, not drive them away from it. So this that's just wrong. Like, what the guard is saying. Like, what about the negative impact enforce and prohibition has in our society? What about the prohibition that creates the gangs like the Kinnans and the Hutches, like, and bringing gangs like the Triads to the streets of Ireland, and with the Triads there being linked to some of the Northern Ireland drug trade, and no doubt most likely the Irish drug trade too down in the Republic, where they're the importer of the drug, and there's some other gang here then that's doing the distribution for them. So these are the kind of guys that we're bringing into our country, rather than, as I say, when we ended alcohol prohibition, we didn't bring in Al Capone's. It was Heineken, Budweiser. I don't really want to see that for the cannabis industry. They're bad models too, like. But look, these guys aren't shooting up streets, unlike the guys that were pushing alcohol in the age of prohibition. And undoubtedly that will happen with cannabis too. Like, if you were to legalize and regulate cannabis, it'd be people like myself who would be getting into the cannabis industry. I would have consumers' interests at my heart, the interests of patients. I would love to be able to set up a facility to grow and produce like top-notch quality cannabis medicines for patients in Ireland, and do so on a non-profit model. I don't want to be one of these big pharmaceutical companies taking millions. That I'd quite happily do a 9 to 5 job, like give it 100, and I just give it 100%, because you can't give 110, but my heart will 100% be in it. And I wouldn't need to be taking a million. I'm living currently on, Jesus, at like 12,000 a year or something like that. I don't know what the dole is, but about 12,000 a year. If I was able to double that maybe and take 24,000, Jesus, I'd be quite happy. Like, that'd be nice, comfortable way to begin things anyway. These guys out there just getting far too much, like. But yeah, that's it from today's 420 news, guys, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And sorry for the delay getting started there in the beginning. It is Friday and all that, and I was getting a little bit high, and I hope you are too. So let's see what's happening out there, guys. I'm gonna have a quick flick on over to the comments. Yeah. So we have Ferg. What's the crack, Ferg? Welcome along. Hope you're doing well, man. And thanks, man, for the comments. And yeah, Dave, sorry there, man, at the beginning. I just launched a live video as I was working on just finishing the last two or three scenes there. I wanted to come on and have a little hit there with you at 420, but it just didn't work out. It was 421 by the time 420 by the time I got live. So nice one again for coming along, Dave, man. Live viewer of the show. And Pierce Richmond should read outdated drug policies should have a negative impact on so many lives and have no place in society. Yeah, man, Pierce, 100% agree with you, man. That couldn't have put it better myself. Like, yeah, repeat that again. It's actually worth repeating. This is what the guard should be saying. Outdated drug policies have such a negative impact on so many lives and have no place in society. That's what our guards should be saying. Our guards should be calling for the regulation and legalization of these drugs too, because like no one sees it more than them, the effects of prohibition. So there you go, man. Instead, no, they're pushing more for more prohibition because they probably want to get more Gardaí added to their force, you know, more money to their budget. Make it seem like drugs are such a big problem, and we need to really work hard to get drugs out of our thing by prohibiting them because that really works. Oh man, I know, man. And yeah, we have Teresa and we have Keith there as well, guys. Thanks very much for your comments and for interacting and tuning into the live show there today. Um, guys, that is everything for today. I don't have anything else to deliver to you. I'm just trying to think now. There was something else. Oh yes, there is something else I wanted to make an announcement on. And thanks very much, everybody who's hung around till now. So my big announcement today is earlier on, I set up a Patreon account, and I also went away and I've added to my website, martinsworld.ie, up in that corner. Boop, boop, up there. Up there now, you'll be able to go and with a click of a button, you'll be brought to a screen and you can make a donation to help with the running of the show, but also to help with a transition into a more permanent premises. So what I'm looking to do is set up an activist hub in Cork City. So I'm looking to rent the building. Currently, where I am at the moment, with the grace of a good friend who used to actually grow cannabis in this room, who sadly got it had it raided because of a faulty fire alarm while he was out at mass. Unfortunately for him, he actually got off with that only just last week too as well. That was good news there because the guards had no warrant to come into his house. They just came in because of a faulty fire alarm with the fire brigade, and they found the plants and took them, and they never actually applied for a warrant. So he got that struck out. But sadly, he hasn't been growing cannabis at all. But he let me start doing a podcast from his spare room. So that was really amazing. But there's certain difficulties with that, you know. I can get access to this place, you know, between 9 to 5, 9 to 6, maybe, kind of a thing. But I have to respect it's his house too, and I'm limited in bringing guests here and all of that stuff too. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm going to rent out a place that I can have 24/7 access myself, and I'm going to maybe establish a non-profit cannabis cafe inside of there where I'll start selling, you know, on a 9 to 5 type of thing, maybe 10 to 5 type of thing. Cannabis based coffees, teas, and other type treats and products there, in a non-profit way, just to help funding with keeping the doors open and help having that hub there for our fellow cannabis activists in Cork and Ireland. The aim then will to be use that space for doing podcasts for one, and inviting others in to also use the space for creating their own content, podcasts, maybe music, you know, just have that space there again for other people that are pushing to have cannabis legalized in Ireland to come and work within. And we can hold workshops, seminars, talks, and social events too, you know. When this whole coronavirus thing blows over, hopefully we'll be able to get like good numbers in there, in there, and have card nights, movie nights, and board game nights, you know, and all sorts of fun nights there, just to help support and grow the cannabis community. Pardon the pun. So that's what the only reason I'm setting up that Patreon, and there's also an option there if you're at all involved in cryptocurrencies, bitcoins. I have an option there for you to also make a donation. It's probably one of the best ways to make a donation actually is in the form of Bitcoin because it has no fees attached to it and to make the transaction to me. So I'll get all of the money that you send to me, and every penny then, guys, will go towards the renting and the upkeep of the building and putting in the equipment there. So that's my goal, my dream, my vision. I'll keep pushing for that. As I say, I'm not putting money into my pocket at all out of this. I had a couple of people who offered to do a bank transfer and stuff like that. I 50 euro there, let me send it to you. And I had another guy come up to me in the city, like tried to put 20 euro into my hand. He's like, "Oh, that's to help with the court case and any fines that'll come out of it." I was just like, "Dude, I don't want your money. That's not at all why I do this." Like, but it just got me to thinking then that there is this other thing that I do want to do. I want to create a hub, a place for cannabis activists and people who just have an interest and want to learn and talk about cannabis, where they can come and know that this is going to be a place where they'll get to meet like-minded people. You know, possibly an opportunity to have a few volcano vaporizers there on the table if the laws allow around the sale and supply of CBD flowers. Maybe that's something that I'll look into. Maybe our buddies there in Little Collins might have something there to add to that one. They might get in touch. But that's also an option that I might just have some vaporizers there on the table so people can vaporize CBD flowers that might be for sale on the premises if we get that far. And also, you can bring your own CBD flowers. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. CBD flowers. Bring your own. So, guys, if you can at all show some support there for that, it'll be much appreciated. But again, as always, like hit that like, share, comment button. Like get the word out there. Spread Martin's World as far wide as possible because everything I do is just to try to help with get us closer to the day that we will see cannabis legalization in Ireland, and that is my overall aim. None of this money is going into my pocket again. Just repeat that. None of this money is going into my pocket. I don't need it. I live a lean lifestyle. you know, I eat well, sleep well, and stuff like that. Don't live extravagantly. I get slagged by my daughter and the girlfriend there sometimes because I have a T-shirt that I was wearing on the night of my 21st, and I still regularly wear this T-shirt, and I'm 31 now, so 10 years old, that T-shirt, and it's probably older, to be honest. I probably have it from 19, but it says a lot about my T-shirt, more to the quality of that stood the test of time, and it's got no holes and nothing in it. That's just me. So guys, I appreciate your support there, and if you can't do it anyway, as I said, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that comment button, tag your friends, let people know what's happening. Like, cannabis needs to be legalized. What's going on here is wrong, and we're not criminals. Let our people grow. Don't panic. It's organic. All of that fun stuff, guys. So that's it for me at Martin's World, and I hope you've enjoyed today's 420 news, guys. Until next Monday, have a blessed weekend, guys. Stay blazed, keep her lit. Peace.